In a small green valley surrounded by tall mountains, there lived a little donkey named Milo. Milo was gentle, soft-spoken, and very timid. Unlike other animals in the valley who ran, played, and laughed together, Milo liked to stay alone. He loved the quiet, the soft breeze, and the sunlight shining over the hills. Milo enjoyed the warmth of the morning sun on his back as he walked slowly through the grass, sniffing the flowers and listening to the birds sing. Every morning, Milo woke up just as the sun began to rise. The sky turned pink and orange, and the mountains looked golden. It was Milo's favorite part of the day. He would walk to the little stream at the center of the valley to drink fresh water. The sound of the flowing water calmed him, and he often closed his eyes for a moment, letting the cool air touch his soft fur. Milo liked these peaceful moments, but he also felt a little lonely. Milo had friends in the valley, like the playful rabbits, the singing birds, and the clever squirrels, but he never joined their games. He was too shy. He worried that he would trip or make a mistake, or that the other animals would laugh at him. So he watched them from a distance while nibbling on grass. Sometimes he wished he could run and play like them, but fear always held him back. One morning, Milo felt something different. The air was still and the birds did not sing as loudly. The valley seemed quieter than usual. Milo's ears twitched. He liked quiet, but this quiet felt strange. Milo wandered near the edge of the forest, curious to see the tall trees and the soft green moss on their trunks. He loved the forest because it smelled fresh and cool. The leaves danced in the morning breeze and little streams trickled through the mossy ground. Milo liked how the forest felt safe and hidden. Suddenly, Milo heard a noise. It was a rustling sound, soft at first, but then louder. Milo froze. He tilted his head, trying to listen. The leaves shook more and shadows moved between the trees. Milo's heart started to beat faster. He had never been afraid of the forest before, but today something felt different. The rustling grew closer, and Milo could see branches moving, though he could not see what was causing it. Milo took a small step back, then another, trying to move away quietly. His hooves pressed into the soft earth, making small sounds that seemed louder than usual. Milo's eyes grew wide. He wanted to run, but he did not know which way to go. He brayed softly, a sound of fear, hoping someone would hear him. His small voice echoed through the forest, and the shadows stopped moving for a moment. Milo's ears were pointed straight up, and he trembled slightly. Not far away, a kind cowboy named Tom was riding his horse through the valley. Tom was tall, with a gentle face and calm eyes. He loved the valley and the animals that lived there. He always checked on the fields, the streams, and the little creatures that lived nearby. Tom noticed Milo standing at the edge of the forest, looking scared. The little donkey brayed softly, and Tom understood right away that Milo needed help. Tom guided his horse closer to Milo. His voice was calm and soothing. "Hello there, little one. It's okay. You're safe," Tom said. Milo's ears twitched at the sound of the kind voice. He had never met anyone like Tom before. There was something warm and comforting in the way the cowboy spoke. Milo slowly stepped closer, still cautious but feeling a little safer. Milo pressed his small body against Tom's boots. He brayed again, softly this time, and Tom gently patted his head. "It's all right. Nothing will hurt you here," Tom said. Milo felt a strange calm in his chest. He had been afraid, but now with Tom near, he felt a little braver. Milo realized that even though the forest seemed scary, he did not have to face it alone. The sun shone through the trees, and Milo took a deep breath. The smell of fresh grass mixed with the cool forest air. The world still felt big, but Milo knew that help could come when he needed it. He looked up at Tom and felt the first spark of trust. For the first time that morning, Milo's heart felt lighter. He was still small and still timid, but he had found a friend who would stay by his side. After Milo pressed himself against Tom's boots, he felt a little safer, but the strange rustling from the forest still echoed in his ears. His small hooves trembled as he looked toward the shadows, unsure of what might be hiding behind the trees. Milo wanted to run back to the open grass, but something made him stay close to Tom. The cowboy's calm presence gave him courage he had never felt before. Tom noticed Milo's unease. He knelt down on one knee to appear smaller and less intimidating. "It's all right, little one," he said softly. "Whatever it is, we will face it together. You are not alone." Milo blinked slowly, trying to understand these words. The rustling continued, but it seemed a little farther away now. Milo's ears twitched as he listened carefully. Suddenly, a branch snapped loudly behind the trees. Milo jumped and brayed in fear. His heart raced faster than ever, and his tail twitched nervously. The little donkey's eyes widened as he saw movement in the shadows. Something small and brown darted between the trees, too quick to catch with his eyes. Milo backed up, but Tom stayed calm. "Easy, Milo, take a deep breath," Tom said, patting the donkey gently. Milo did his best to breathe slowly, feeling the warmth of Tom's hand on his head. Slowly, his trembling legs stopped shaking. Milo realized that being near Tom made the fear easier to handle. He still did not know what was in the forest, but he felt stronger than before. The rustling grew louder again. Milo's ears pointed straight up and he brayed softly, trying to warn whoever or whatever was there. Tom looked carefully at the trees and then he saw it, a small bundle caught in the bushes. It moved awkwardly as if struggling to escape. Milo's eyes widened in recognition. "It's a little animal," Tom whispered. "It must be stuck. We need to help it." Milo felt a strange mix of fear and curiosity. He wanted to run, but he also wanted to help. He sniffed the air carefully, trying to understand what kind of creature it was. Milo could see tiny paws moving frantically. The little animal looked scared, just like him. Milo's heart beat fast, but he took a small step forward. Tom noticed and smiled gently. "Good job, Milo, you are brave. Let's help together." With that, Tom carefully reached into the bushes. Milo watched closely, his large eyes following every movement. Tom's hands were gentle as he untangled the small creature. Finally, the little animal was free. Milo's eyes widened in amazement. It was a tiny rabbit, no bigger than his nose. The rabbit's fur was soft and brown, and its little eyes were wide with fear. Milo brayed softly, nudging the rabbit with his nose. The rabbit froze for a moment, then slowly relaxed, feeling safe near Milo and Tom. Tom smiled at Milo. "See, Milo? Sometimes being brave doesn't mean you are not afraid. It means you help others even when you are scared." Milo tilted his head, thinking about these words. He had been very frightened just a moment ago, but now he had helped in some small way. His small action had made a difference. The rabbit wiggled its nose and hopped closer to Milo. Milo felt a warmth in his chest. He realized that fear could be overcome when someone you trust is with you. He had been afraid, but he had also felt courage, and it felt wonderful. The little donkey brayed again, this time softly and happily, as if to say, "We are okay now." Tom patted Milo's head once more. "You did well, Milo, I am proud of you. You helped this little one because you cared, and that is very special." Milo felt a strange happiness fill him. He had never felt this proud before. He had faced fear and stayed calm enough to help someone in need. The forest seemed less frightening now. The rustling had stopped, and the sunlight poured through the leaves, making patterns on the ground. Milo looked at Tom and the rabbit, and he realized something important. He was not alone. He had a friend who cared for him and a tiny new friend who depended on him. Milo's small heart felt brave, full, and happy. For the first time, Milo understood that courage was not about being fearless. It was about facing your fear, protecting those who cannot protect themselves, and trusting someone who cares. And Milo knew that with Tom by his side, he could face anything the valley might bring. After the little rabbit was free, Milo stayed close to Tom. The warmth of the cowboy's hand on his head made him feel calm. Milo's ears, which had been pointing straight up in fear, relaxed slightly. The rabbit, who seemed very small and fragile, huddled near Milo's legs. Milo sniffed the tiny creature gently, trying to understand it. Somehow he felt responsible for this little life. Tom smiled at Milo and whispered softly, "You see, Milo, when you stay calm, you can help others. That is true courage." Milo blinked slowly. He had always thought courage meant running fast or being strong, but now he realized it could be quiet and gentle. Helping someone scared or small could be just as brave as fighting a storm or climbing a mountain. Milo felt proud of himself. The rabbit, who Tom decided to name Coco, wiggled its nose and looked up at Milo. Milo lowered his head and brayed softly. Coco twitched its ears and seemed to smile. Milo had never felt this connection with another creature before. Even though he had been afraid moments ago, now he felt a new kind of happiness, the joy of being able to help someone else. Tom stood up and looked around. The forest no longer seemed dark or threatening. Sunlight poured through the trees and the shadows of leaves danced on the ground. Tom knelt down again and said, "We should take care of Coco until it is strong enough to go back home. Milo, would you help me?" Milo nodded eagerly. He felt important. For the first time, he realized that even a little donkey could make a big difference. The three of them slowly walked back toward the open valley. Milo stayed close to Tom, and Coco hopped along beside them. The grass was soft under their feet, and the valley smelled fresh and clean after the morning dew. Milo felt the sun on his back and noticed the flowers along the way. For a moment, everything seemed peaceful and safe. As they walked, Milo realized he had learned something important. Fear could make you small, but courage could make you strong in ways he had never imagined. He had been scared in the forest, but he had stayed near Tom, and together they had helped Coco. Milo understood that trusting someone kind was not a weakness. It was smart. With someone who cared, even the scariest moments could feel manageable. Coco hopped onto a small rock and looked around. Milo stepped closer and nudged the rabbit gently with his nose. Tom chuckled softly. "You two will be friends for life, I think," he said. Milo felt a warm feeling in his chest. He had never felt like this before. He had never imagined that a tiny rabbit could make him feel so protective and proud. As they continued toward Tom's cabin, Milo noticed the other animals watching from a distance. The birds chirped happily and the rabbits hopped quietly among the grass. Milo realized they were not afraid of him. Somehow helping Coco had made him feel braver in their eyes too. Milo held his head higher and took more confident steps. Even though he was still small, he felt stronger than ever before. When they reached the cabin, Tom opened the door and invited Milo and Coco inside. The warmth of the wooden cabin was comforting, and Milo felt safe in the soft light. Coco hopped onto a small rug, and Milo lay down beside the cowboy's boots. Tom patted Milo's head one more time. "You did very well today, Milo. You faced your fear and helped a friend. That is something very special." Milo closed his eyes for a moment, feeling proud and happy. Milo realized that the forest had not been as scary as he thought. What had felt frightening at first had turned into an adventure. He had learned that fear could be overcome with care, trust, and action, and he had found new friends, both a kind cowboy and a tiny rabbit, who made him feel safe and important. Milo felt a quiet excitement for tomorrow, wondering what new adventures the valley might bring. As the sun rose higher in the sky, Milo, Coco, and Tom rested in the cabin. Milo's heart was calm, but it beat with a new kind of strength. He had discovered courage, friendship, and trust. For the first time, Milo felt like he belonged in the valley, and he knew that together with Tom and Coco, he could face anything that came their way. The next morning, Milo woke up early as the sunlight filled the cabin. He stretched his legs and twitched his ears, feeling excited for the new day. Coco, the tiny rabbit, was already awake, hopping around the soft rug. Milo watched Coco with gentle eyes. He had never felt such a close friendship before. The little rabbit seemed to trust him completely, and Milo felt proud of that trust. Tom entered the cabin carrying a basket of fresh vegetables and fruits. He smiled at Milo and Coco. "Good morning, friends. Today will be a beautiful day in the valley," he said. Milo brayed softly in response, happy to see Tom smiling. Coco hopped closer, sniffing the fresh carrots in Tom's basket. Milo nudged Coco gently as if to say, "Eat slowly. We will enjoy it together." After breakfast, Tom decided to take Milo and Coco for a walk near the edge of the forest. Milo had grown braver since the previous day, and he felt confident enough to explore a little more. He walked close to Tom, and Coco hopped beside him. The valley was alive with colors. The flowers were bright, the grass was soft, and the birds sang cheerfully. Milo felt at peace, enjoying the morning air. As they neared a small grove of trees, Milo noticed something unusual. In the middle of the bushes, something small and brown was moving. It was different from Coco, and did not look like the usual animals in the valley. Milo stopped and stared. His ears twitched and his tail flicked nervously. He felt the same fear he had felt in the forest before, but this time, he remembered Tom's words. Courage is staying calm and helping others. Milo brayed softly to alert Tom. Tom turned and looked in the direction Milo was pointing. He moved closer, keeping a careful eye on the bushes. He said thoughtfully. "It looks like another animal needs our help." Milo stepped forward, feeling a mix of fear and curiosity. He wanted to help just like before. He could feel Coco watching him, trusting him completely. Milo felt a sense of responsibility he had never felt before. Carefully, Tom reached into the bushes. Milo stayed close, watching every movement. Milo's eyes widened as he saw a small squirrel tangled in some vines. The squirrel struggled, trying to free itself, but the vines were too tight. Milo brayed softly as if to tell the squirrel, "Don't worry, we are here to help." Coco hopped closer and twitched its nose nervously, but it stayed near Milo. Tom gently lifted the vines away from the squirrel. Milo stayed calm, using his nose to nudge the little animal gently, reassuring it that they meant no harm. The squirrel finally wiggled free and looked at Milo and Coco with bright, thankful eyes. Milo felt a warm feeling in his chest. He had faced fear again and helped another creature. The sense of courage he felt was stronger than before. The squirrel climbed up onto a nearby branch, chattering happily. Milo watched, feeling proud. He realized that even small creatures could make a difference in someone's life. Helping someone in need brought happiness that was greater than the fear he had felt moments before. Milo's heart felt full. He was beginning to understand that bravery was not just about strength. It was about kindness, care, and staying calm. Tom knelt down and patted Milo gently. "See, Milo? Every creature has a story. Sometimes they get stuck or scared, and you have the heart to help them. That is something very special." Milo brayed softly in agreement. He looked at Coco and the squirrel and realized that he had become part of something bigger, a small, caring family in the valley. As the day went on, Milo, Coco, and Tom explored the forest and the valley together. Milo noticed that the other animals were watching him more closely now. They seemed curious and respectful. Milo held his head a little higher and walked with confidence. He had learned that even a small donkey could be brave, and that courage was about helping others, not just being fearless. By the time the sun began to set, Milo, Coco, and Tom returned to the cabin. Milo felt tired but happy. He had faced fear again, helped someone in need, and learned that kindness and bravery could go hand in hand. He realized that each day in the valley could bring new challenges, but with Tom and Coco by his side, he felt ready for anything. Milo lay down near Tom's boots with Coco resting on the rug beside him. Milo closed his eyes, feeling safe, proud, and loved. The next morning, Milo woke up feeling brighter than ever. The sun was shining through the cabin window, and the valley looked alive with color. Birds were singing happily, and the flowers glimmered with morning dew. Milo stretched his legs and twitched his ears, excited to start the day. Coco, the little rabbit, was already hopping around, sniffing the soft rug and the warm sunlight. Milo watched her with gentle eyes, feeling happy that she trusted him completely. Tom entered the cabin carrying a small basket filled with fresh fruits and vegetables. "Good morning, Milo. Good morning, Coco," he said with a smile. "Today I thought we could explore a new part of the valley." Milo brayed softly in response. He had grown curious about the valley and wanted to explore it safely with Tom and Coco. The valley was full of surprises, and Milo now felt brave enough to discover them. After breakfast, they stepped outside. Milo noticed the soft green grass swaying in the breeze. The valley seemed even bigger than before, full of colors, smells, and sounds. Milo walked close to Tom, feeling the warmth of his presence. Coco hopped beside Milo, twitching her nose at the flowers and the fresh air. Milo felt a strange happiness in his chest. For the first time, he realized that friendship could make even the biggest fears feel smaller. As they walked, Milo remembered how scared he had felt in the forest. But now, seeing Coco and walking with Tom, that fear seemed distant. Milo realized something important. Fear could be shared and faced together. He could still feel afraid sometimes, but with friends by his side, the fear did not control him. Milo felt stronger, braver, and more confident. While exploring near a small stream, Milo noticed another rabbit stuck in the water. Its tiny paws splashed helplessly, and it looked frightened. Milo's ears twitched, and he brayed softly to get Tom's attention. Tom looked at Milo and nodded. "Good eye, Milo. Let's help it together." Milo stepped forward carefully, feeling the cool breeze on his back. He gently nudged the tiny rabbit toward the shore while Tom reached out and pulled it safely onto the grass. The little rabbit shook its wet fur and looked up at Milo with grateful eyes. Milo brayed softly as if saying, "You are safe now." Coco hopped closer and twitched her nose, happy to see Milo helping again. Milo felt proud. He realized that helping others, no matter how small, brought joy and made him feel important. Each act of kindness made his heart feel fuller, and his confidence grew. After helping the little rabbit, Milo, Coco, and Tom continued their walk. They found a meadow filled with colorful flowers, buzzing bees, and singing birds. Milo trotted happily through the flowers, feeling the soft petals brush against his legs. Coco hopped playfully between the flowers and Tom laughed at their joy. Milo's heart felt warm. He realized that courage was not only about facing danger, it was also about being gentle, kind, and caring. By the afternoon, Milo noticed that the other animals in the valley were watching him. The birds perched on branches and the rabbits peeked from behind bushes. Milo felt proud. He understood that even though he was small, he could make a difference. His gentle nature, bravery, and care for others were noticed by everyone around him. Milo felt a sense of belonging he had never felt before. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the valley, Milo, Coco, and Tom walked back to the cabin. Milo's hooves were tired, but his heart was full. He had faced small fears, helped creatures in need, and discovered that friendship and kindness made courage grow. Milo realized that the bond he shared with Tom and Coco was special. Together they could face any challenge and make the valley a safer, happier place. That night, Milo lay down near Tom's boots, with Coco cuddled beside him. Milo closed his eyes, feeling safe, loved, and proud. He knew that tomorrow would bring new adventures, new challenges, and new opportunities to be brave. Milo had grown stronger, not just in body, but in heart. He had learned that true courage comes from care, trust, and friendship. And with Tom and Coco by his side, Milo felt ready to face anything. The valley was peaceful that afternoon. Milo trotted beside Tom and Coco hopped happily alongside him. The sun was warm, the flowers smelled sweet, and the birds sang cheerfully. Milo felt brave and happy. He had faced his fears many times and had helped little animals in need. But as the day went on, the sky began to change. Dark clouds started gathering over the mountains. The bright sunlight faded and a cool breeze swept through the valley. Milo's ears twitched nervously. He had never seen the sky look so dark and heavy. Coco noticed the change too. The little rabbit twitched her nose and moved closer to Milo. Milo nudged her gently, trying to reassure her. He felt a small worry in his chest, but he remembered what Tom had taught him. Courage meant staying calm even when things seemed scary. Soon the wind grew stronger. The trees swayed and the leaves rustled loudly. Milo brayed softly, feeling a mix of fear and curiosity. He had faced small fears before, like the forest shadows and helping other animals. But this was different. The storm felt big and powerful, and Milo didn't know what to do. Coco hopped closer, trembling slightly, and Milo wrapped his legs around her gently, trying to comfort her. Tom noticed the worry in Milo's eyes. "It's okay, Milo, we will be safe." "Come with me," he said in a calm voice. Milo felt the warmth of Tom's hand as he guided him and Coco toward the cabin. The wind blew harder and the first drops of rain began to fall. Milo trotted carefully beside Tom, feeling the storm surround them. Coco hopped close to Milo, trusting him completely. When they reached the cabin, Tom opened the door and led Milo and Coco inside. The warmth of the cabin was comforting. Milo shook his legs and brayed softly, feeling relieved. Coco hopped onto the soft rug, twitching her nose nervously. Milo stayed close to Tom, leaning against his boots. He could hear the rain tapping on the roof and the wind howling outside, but inside he felt safe. The storm grew stronger as the evening went on. Milo watched the rain pour outside the window. He could hear the distant rumble of thunder and his small body trembled slightly. But he looked at Tom and Coco and remembered that he was not alone. Milo had faced fear before, and he knew that together they could get through anything. Coco hopped closer and snuggled near Milo's legs. Milo brayed softly, reassuring her. He had learned that courage was not about being fearless. It was about being calm, helping others, and trusting someone who cared. Milo had faced smaller fears in the valley, and now this big storm was just another challenge to meet with patience and bravery. Tom smiled at Milo. "See, Milo? Storms are loud and strong, but they pass, and we are safe here together. You are brave for staying calm and caring for Coco." Milo blinked slowly, feeling proud. He realized that courage was also about caring for others, even when you are scared yourself. The storm continued for some time, but Milo, Coco, and Tom stayed inside the cabin. Milo watched the raindrops fall and felt the warmth of the cabin and the love of his friends. He realized that fear could be faced when you have trust and friendship. Even in the loudest storm, safety and courage could be found in those who cared for you. By nightfall, the storm had calmed slightly, though the rain still fell softly. Milo lay down near Tom's boots and Coco rested beside him. Milo's ears twitched as he listened to the sounds of the storm, but his heart was calm. He had learned that being brave did not mean facing the world alone. It meant staying near those who cared, helping others, and trusting in love and friendship. As Milo closed his eyes, he felt proud and safe. The storm had tested him, but he had remained calm and caring. He knew that tomorrow, the valley would shine brightly again and he would be ready for new adventures. Milo's heart was full of courage, and he was grateful for the bond he shared with Tom and Coco. Together, they could face anything the valley might bring. The morning after the storm, the valley was fresh and sparkling. The grass glistened with raindrops, and the flowers seemed brighter than ever. Milo stepped outside the cabin, feeling the soft, wet grass under his hooves. Coco hopped excitedly beside him, twirling around and sniffing the fresh air. Milo felt a warmth in his chest as he watched his tiny friend enjoying the morning. The storm from the previous night felt far away now, and Milo felt ready for whatever the day might bring. Tom came outside carrying a small basket. "Good morning, Milo." "Good morning, Coco. The valley looks wonderful after the rain," he said with a smile. Milo brayed softly in agreement. He loved mornings like this, full of light, life, and possibility. Tom suggested they explore a part of the valley they had never visited before. Milo's ears twitched in excitement. He had grown braver over the past days, and the idea of discovering something new thrilled him. As they walked toward the edge of the valley, Milo noticed something unusual near a large oak tree. The ground seemed disturbed, as if something had been digging there. Milo's hooves stopped, and he tilted his head, curious. Coco hopped closer, sniffing the small hole in the earth. Milo brayed softly, alerting Tom to their discovery. Tom walked carefully toward the oak tree, observing the small hole. It looks like an animal has been digging here," he said. "Let's see who it might be." Milo felt a mix of curiosity and caution. He had learned that approaching new things could sometimes be a little scary, but also exciting. Coco twitched her nose and stayed close to Milo. Together they looked into the hole and saw tiny eyes staring back at them. Milo brayed softly in surprise. Inside the hole was a small, frightened hedgehog. Its little quills trembled, and it looked unsure of what to do. Tom knelt down gently and spoke softly to the hedgehog. "Hello, little one. You are safe here. We only want to help." Milo stepped closer, lowering his head to nuzzle the hedgehog gently. Coco hopped near Milo's legs, offering comfort with her tiny presence. The hedgehog seemed to understand that they meant no harm and slowly relaxed. Milo felt proud again. He realized that helping others, no matter how small or scared, was a true act of courage. Tom carefully lifted the hedgehog from the hole and placed it on the soft grass. Milo sniffed it gently, and the little hedgehog bristled at first but soon calmed down. Milo brayed softly as if saying, "We are your friends." Coco twitched her nose and hopped around the hedgehog playfully, making it smile with its tiny eyes. Milo felt a warm glow inside him. The hedgehog was safe, and he had been part of helping it. The three friends, Milo, Coco, and Tom, decided to take the hedgehog back to the cabin for the day. Milo walked proudly beside Tom, with Coco hopping cheerfully nearby. Milo realized that every creature in the valley had its own fears, and every creature could use a friend. He had learned that courage was not only about facing storms or shadows, but also about kindness, care, and patience. As they returned to the cabin, Milo noticed how the valley had changed after the rain. Puddles reflected the bright sky, flowers shined with droplets, and the forest looked alive and inviting. Milo felt that the valley itself was full of life, and he was now a part of it in a special way. He was no longer just a small, scared donkey. He was brave, kind, and a friend to those in need. By the time they reached the cabin, Milo had formed a small but growing group of friends. Coco, the rabbit, and the little hedgehog were now part of his daily adventures. Milo's heart was full. He understood that courage, trust, and care made bonds stronger and life more meaningful. Milo lay down near Tom's boots while Coco and the hedgehog rested on the rug. Milo closed his eyes, feeling safe, happy, and proud. He knew that tomorrow might bring new challenges, but with Tom and his friends by his side, he could face anything. Milo had discovered the power of friendship and the joy of helping others. The valley was not only a place of beauty, it was a place of love, care, and courage. And Milo was now an important part of it all. The morning sun rose over the valley, painting the sky with shades of pink and gold. Milo stretched his legs and twitched his ears, feeling full of energy. Coco hopped around him excitedly, and the little hedgehog snuffled softly in the grass. Milo had never felt so happy in his life. Over the past days, he had faced fears, helped animals in need, and discovered the joy of friendship. Today felt like a perfect day to enjoy the valley with those he cared about. Tom came out of the cabin with a warm smile. "Good morning, Milo." "Good morning, Coco." "Good morning, little friend," he said, looking at the hedgehog. "Today we will explore the valley together. There are many new things to see, and I know we will have a wonderful adventure." Milo brayed softly in agreement, feeling proud and excited. He had grown braver and more confident with every challenge he had faced. The three friends began their journey through the valley. Milo led the way carefully, his hooves pressing softly into the fresh grass. Coco hopped beside him, twirling and sniffing flowers, and the hedgehog waddled along behind them, slowly but steadily. Milo felt a warm feeling in his heart. He realized that courage was not only about facing fear, it was also about care, patience, and kindness. Helping others made him feel stronger and happier. As they walked, Milo noticed the other animals in the valley watching them. Birds perched on branches, rabbits peeked from behind bushes, and even squirrels climbed trees to get a better view. Milo felt proud. He had once been shy and timid, too afraid to join the others. But now he understood that being brave meant showing kindness and helping those in need. Milo knew that even a small donkey could make a big difference in the world around him. The three friends reached a small hill in the center of the valley. From there, the view was breathtaking. The forest stretched far into the distance. The streams sparkled in the sunlight, and the flowers painted the valley with bright colors. Milo took a deep breath and brayed softly, feeling a happiness he had never felt before. Coco twitched her nose and hopped around joyfully, and the little hedgehog snuffled happily at Milo's side. Tom sat down on a large rock and looked at Milo with pride. "See, Milo? You have grown so much. You faced your fears, helped others, and discovered what true courage is. You are brave, kind, and caring. You are an important part of this valley." Milo blinked slowly, feeling a warmth in his heart. He realized that the cowboy was right. Milo had grown stronger, not just in body but in spirit. As the day went on, Milo, Coco, and the hedgehog played, explored, and rested in the sunshine. They discovered hidden flowers, listened to the songs of birds, and found small streams where they could drink and play. Milo felt free and happy. He realized that fear could be faced when you had trust, love, and friends by your side. Each challenge had taught him something new, and he felt proud of the brave donkey he had become. As the sun began to set, Milo, Coco, and the hedgehog returned to the cabin. Milo lay down near Tom's boots, feeling the soft warmth of the wooden floor beneath him. Coco snuggled close, and the hedgehog curled up near Milo's legs. Milo closed his eyes, feeling safe, loved, and proud. He thought about everything he had learned. Courage comes from caring for others. Fear can be overcome with trust, and friendship makes life brighter and happier. The valley was peaceful, full of light, color, and life. Milo realized that he was no longer the scared little donkey he had once been. He was brave, kind, and full of love for those around him. With Tom, Coco, and the hedgehog by his side, Milo knew that the valley would always be a happy place, filled with friendship, courage, and joy. Milo drifted into a calm sleep, dreaming of new adventures, happy days, and the bright future ahead in his beloved valley.